Hi, Robert Anthony here for Audiotuts Plus. A quick and easy way to add interest to almost any sound is to use a vocoder to change the sonic characteristics of the incoming audio signal. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a vocal vocoder freeze effect, where you can freeze a vocal sample for as long as you like for use in breakdowns or buildups, then seamlessly unfreeze it and resume playback of the vocoded vocal sample. This effect will make use of a common feature in most vocoders called either the freeze or hold function. This will do exactly what it sounds like, and when enabled, will freeze the incoming audio signal on a single sample until you release the button. Using your host DAW's automation settings, which stands for Digital Audio Workstation, you can make the disable automation point the exact same as the enable automation point on a duplicate audio region. You can then move the duplicate audio region in time in the sequencer to lengthen or shorten the vocal vocoder freeze effect. The steps to achieve this effect are fairly simple. First, you set up your host DAW and plugin for vocoding. Then, you set an automation point to enable the vocoder's freeze function. After that, you duplicate the automation and audio region and move it down in time in the sequencer. Finally, change the automation point from enable to disable. This will assure that the exact sample that the vocoder freezes on and releases on are the exact same, or as close as possible, to minimize any audio jumps when it begins playing back the audio sample. Now that I've explained how to do this effect, let me show you step by step. So first, we need to set up our host DAW and plugin for vocoding. This step will vary depending on your host DAW and synth plugin that you're using for vocoding. But the idea is, you need to have a vocoder plugin set up as a playable synth. Inside of Logic Pro, I'm going to use the Evoc 20 PS. So now, I create a new virtual instrument track and load up the Evoc 20 PS. Next, we need to have a sound source to feed into this synth via the sidechaining function. I'll use this free vocal sample that I have, and I'll drag it into the sequencer. Next, inside of the vocoder synth, we need to select an audio track from the sidechain dropdown. Finally, on this particular synth, we need to switch it from being a standalone synthesizer to be a vocoder for incoming audio through the sidechain. You can optionally disable the audio output of the sample you're vocoding so you just hear the processed signal. Or if you want to have a mix between the wet and dry signal, you can adjust the volume to your preference. Next, we need to set an automation point to enable the vocoder's freeze function. I found that with vocals, this effect sounds most pleasing and, quote, natural when you freeze in the middle of a vowel. I'll place the automation point right here, and inside of Logic Pro, for an on-off MIDI signal, the node will jump to the top or bottom, respectively. I'll position the automation point to turn the freeze button on at this point. Next, I'll copy the audio region by pressing the Option key and dragging down in the sequencer. Logic Pro by default will ask if you want to copy the automation data. In this case, we do. I'll click Copy, and this new version will have the automation point in the exact same place in the audio region as the original. Finally, we need to change the automation point to be in the off position. To do this, I'll click the automation point and drag it in the opposite position. So if we look at what we've created, we have an audio file running through a vocoder, and using the host DAW's automation, we've set the enable and disable points in the exact same spot on the same audio file. This should give us a vocoder effect that seamlessly freezes, then releases the vocal sample. I'm going to play the vocoder live on my MIDI controller as I play back the project. Let's have a listen.
Thank
As you can hear, when the automation triggers the hold function of the vocoder, it freezes the sample. Then, when it reaches the release automation point, it resumes playback at the exact same spot that it froze it on the previous audio region. So this is a really cool effect, but not every virtual synth that can be used as a vocoder has a hold or freeze function. But you can still create this effect if you have an automatable plugin that can sample and hold, or otherwise freeze the audio track that it's on. You are essentially using this effect plugin in place of a built-in hold function on the synthesizer. I have here Native Instruments Razor, which has a vocoder function, but does not have a hold function built into it. So what I've done is I've placed an instance of Native Instruments Guitar Rig, and I have one of the modules from Tractors 12 loaded in. I've set the settings to act as a sample and hold function when I enable the effect. Then I've automated the on-off button in Logic Pro just like I did with the built-in hold function on the Evoc 20PS. The effect is the same, but you can easily go above and beyond by automating the other various parameters of this effect plugin. Vocoders are a fun and easy way to add sonic interest to your production. In this tutorial, I've shown you how to create a seamless vocoder freeze effect using a vocal sample. Keep in mind, you can use this effect on a wide range of sounds, not just vocals. And using a freeze effect like I've demonstrated here can help add that extra variety that you may have been looking for in your productions. This is Robert Anthony for Audiotuts Plus. Thanks for watching.